Welcome to The COVID Effect, a podcast mini-series brought to you by The Razor's Edge. In this series, we talk to music industry insiders delving into the effects the COVID pandemic has brought upon each guest's field within the industry.
The Beardy Monkey here from The Razor's Edge, and today I'm talking to Anthony Knight, owner of UKTR, or Unite the Realm Apparel. Welcome, man. How are you, man?
I'm all good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Nice day today. So I've seen you've been down the beach. Are you feeling enough to have a nice, relaxing day?
Yeah, a little beach picnic before Easter Sunday dinner, which was nice. Bit of lamb.
You had a picnic before dinner?
Huh?
You had a picnic before dinner?
Yeah. Why not? It was one of those days of the year, like Christmas, where you can just eat a shitload of food and be okay with that.
Exactly. Yeah. So, for those who are not aware, could you just give a quick overview of who you are?
So, I'm Anthony Knight. I'm the owner of UKTR Apparel. We're an independent alternative clothing brand, focusing on anything from death metal inspirations to Dungeons and Dragons. So a lot of nerdy shit in there as well. I'm the former vocalist of death metal band Getica, some people may or may not have heard of. I'm former co-host and compere of Metal to the Masses Coventry and occasional gig promoter.
Cool, nice one. Well, first of all, obviously you've just mentioned Getica, so let's go right back to the beginning and let's talk about Getica. How did you come to be in Getica? So obviously Getica were a band before you joined, weren't they?
Yeah. So I mean, they'd just come off the back of their first album release and tour. And I think they were in the midst of sort of writing new material, and I think behind the scenes wise, before I knew anything about it, they were looking at potentially reevaluating like their lineup and stuff, and potentially introducing a sole vocalist rather than like Scott used to do a lot of the vocals as well as guitar. Yeah. So I was invited along to play a Halloween show with them. So we did a few rehearsals with them before the show, and basically that, as it turned out, unknown to me, they were actually auditions. They just didn't tell me about it until after the show, and apparently I passed with flying colours somehow, and they asked me to join just after the Halloween show. So it was, like I say, it was unknowingly being invited to audition for them, where I thought I was just doing a little guest slot. So it was pretty cool, but I didn't have a clue about it.
Awesome, man. So what did you learn from being in a band, kind of, and moving forwards?
I think I learned a lot from being in Getica, particularly. Like my stagecraft as a vocalist, and just general self-confidence out of that as well. It really sort of brought me out my shell as both a frontman and just as a person. Always been pretty shy up until that point. So I guess it made me a bit more confident in my own ability in all aspects of life and what I could go on to do. So and aspects of professionalism on and off stage as well, at shows and whatnot, and like supporting other bands and things like that. It's just the little things like that, just having like a respect for the other bands, the promoters, and putting that into everyday life and business. It's getting to know a few more people and opening up a few more doors and just generally being supportive, which is a lot of what I do now with which I'm sure we'll come to in a bit, but with UKTR. But like I say, I developed vocal style, pushed out of comfort zones. I got into like booking some of our tours as well. I got into dealing with a lot of the merchandise, which I was talking to a lot of artists, going through design concepts, And then I worked in the layouts of like, the albums and stuff like that, as well as like the t-shirts. So all of that ended up leading to what I wanted to kind of do, which was a clothing brand in the end. So, it impacted my life massively.
Yeah, awesome, man. So would you say your overall experience of being in a band was positive or negative or a bit of both?
It's always a little bit of both, I guess. It's mostly positive, though. There's always disagreements from time to time in bands. It just always is. And there's always that one shitty promoter on a tour, all that sort of stuff that you have to kind of deal with. But everything else was great. Got to work with some amazing promoters and producers. So, we worked with like Russ Russell, Justin Hill from Sixth, Owen Davis as well. Recorded our Monster in Morning album with. We've got to play Bloodstock a couple of times. We've toured all around the country, supported and headline shows with loads of bands that we love. Met tons of great people while we were doing it. It's the good stuff more than outweighs the negatives in my experience, at least.
Is that kind of how you feel when you reflect on Getica? Like, is that sort of the good stuff outweighs the bad? Yeah,
definitely. It's you definitely get nostalgic about it. And so kind of did step away. You do start looking back and missing it. Sort of wishing that you could have done more, because I think as a band we had the potential to do more than we did. If we could do it all over again, knowing what we know now, all that sort of hindsight stuff, I think we could have gone further than we did. But it's all positive stuff, though. I loved every minute of it. I'm incredibly proud of the music that we created together. I just wish we made the most of our potential. That's one sort of like niggling point, I guess. But I look back on it fondly. I feel old when I look back and see, pictures of 10 years ago, me on stage and stuff, and you think you still kind of look like that, and you look in the mirror and you go, nope, not at all. But yeah, old and nostalgic.
Who came up with the gentleman, the gentleman look? Was that you? Or?
No, that was, before I joined, it was, they kind of had... They still had like the spiffing and all that sort of stuff going on. But they had a bit more of like military attire. And when I came into the band, they were sort of talking about changing it. And I think they'd just come up with the idea of doing it more like gentlemen and in sort of like waistcoats and things like that. So I think it was more coming from probably Scott and Chris, I think, from what I remember. I could be wrong. I think it was probably those two with that sort of like creative influence of like the onstage sort of look. But yeah, that was just as I was coming into the band.
Yeah, awesome, man. So are you? Obviously you've been out of the band now for a few years. 2016 was it? You left Getica?
Oh god, yeah, probably something like that. 16 or 17 maybe was the last gig. Something like that, 16 or 17, I can't remember now. But yeah, a few years ago now.
It was with the Bar and Decimation, wasn't it? The last couple of gigs, I think. There was that one.
Yeah, we did a little tour. Yeah. We did a little tour with them, and then our last show was the Archers in Coventry, and we actually had Conjurer support us, which was pretty cool. So, because we played a few gigs with them over the years, and we're one of our favourite bands. So they thankfully said yes to come and play with us. That was pretty awesome. Codex Alimentarius as well, who we'd done a little tour with, and Face of Ruin as well. Good guys in that band. So I forget whether that was. It might have been the start of 2017. I think.
So is there any future of you returning to the microphone?
Yeah. I'm actually already in another project, and I've been for a couple of years now. COVID slowed things down a little over the last 12 months or so, but we've had a few stop-start things along the way, just life happening. But I've been back at it behind the scenes, and I've actually been building I've been having it built, a home office come recording studio at home. So I'll be back at it properly in the next few weeks. I've just had all of my studio stuff arrive last week, so we're starting to get all that set up pretty soon. So I've never had like a home practice space before. It's always been relied on going into a studio. So it's going to be pretty cool having that at my disposal. So yeah, I'll be fully back on it the next few weeks. And as a band, we're hoping to record later this year.
Cool.
All being well. So yeah, keep an eye on.
Nice one, man. So let's obviously move forward. So we're here to talk about UKTR. So in 2014, you started UKTR. So where did the idea come from?
Like I said earlier, I'd sort of dealt with merch in previous bands, including Getica, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with artists and bringing different concepts to life, arranging the layouts of merch and album inlays and everything. I just enjoyed the design work aspect of it. So decided to give my own brand a shot. It was something I thought about the more and more I started getting involved with the merchandising in the band, and it's like, I actually really enjoy this. I hate my real job, so why not just try and set this up and see where it goes. It came directly from being in bands and dealing with that sort of stuff.
Okay, fair play, man. So it's kind of taking elements of the music industry and sort of bending it to kind of what you want to do.
Exactly, yeah.
Where did the name come from?
It's kind of a play on my surname, Knight. So Unite the Realm. And the concept of the brand as well. So the concept behind it was I wanted to work with other artists and bands and basically like create our own little mini community empire sort of thing. So Unite the Realm was born from that. It's my name plus the concept of the brand.
Awesome, man. So what kind of were your primary objectives when you started up?
Work with awesome artists and bands, mutually promote each other. That was like one of the big things. The whole idea of this sort of like community sort of feel to it. We're all working together to build sort of a bit of a project and promote each other. Artists work with me. I make sure they're always credited, and I tag them in things. So hopefully, whether it's bands or other brands or people who want anything doing artwork wise, they've can flag them up and give them a follow on social media and call upon them when they need to. Yeah. Same with bands, get involved with bands and things like that. They get to, get some stuff to wear on stage. That promotes me, and equally when I share stuff to do with them, and I'll pop them up on the website as well on our endorsements page. Hopefully, a few more people are discovering them. So the initial sort of thing was to a bit of that, put on some shows as well, sell some merch, have fun, and basically try to break even initially, at best. But and those basics kind of remain the same now. Only I kind of expect to make profit, providing there isn't another minor apocalypse anytime soon, at least.
Yeah, definitely. Well, obviously, just before the pandemic started, you uprooted your business and your family, moved into Cornwall. That is a huge change. How has the new start really helped your creativity and helped your business move forwards?
It's the move and stuff, and living where we do now in Cornwall. It's been bliss, especially given that. Well, we managed to get down here. I think it was the day before we went into full lockdown. So we got in. We just literally scraped in, managing to get the removal firm to actually come and move our stuff down. That was lucky, but it's been bliss. We wanted to make the move for a while, and we were fortunate to be in a position to do so. And back to the creativity aspect, it certainly inspired that. We don't exactly create surfwear or anything like that. Spending time at the beach and just relaxing, listening to the sea, it really helps to refocus. I can spend days working on designs and barely leave the house, so having a bunch of beaches 5 to 10 minutes away is an absolute blessing for that sort of recentering and clearing your head for ideas and creativity to flow again. So it has been, it's been an absolute blessing being here.
I suppose clearer air, Cornish pasties as well, and cider.
Cornish pasties, it's ale, it's spot on.
So I mean, like with the effects of the pandemic, how has this affected, I'd say the fashion industry, but like sort of your business, and obviously working in fashion, that sort of thing. How has that really affected what you do?
It's made things incredibly difficult, that's for sure. We noticed the effects and severity, as soon as the first lockdown announcement was made in March. We'd just launched one of our pre-orders, our Lich pre-order.
Yeah.
And, the first few days were going great. And then as soon as the announcement was made, orders just stopped. And completely for a month and a half, 2 months. We just didn't have anything.
Yeah.
We had to cancel the pre-order in the end and issue refunds because we just couldn't afford to take the hits on, we could afford to get this stuff, but could we move it?
Yeah.
So, little things like that were, obviously weren't great. It was worrying for a time. Orders were probably pretty sporadic up until August, September time, and then picked up for a bit.
Yeah.
And then December obviously went quiet again, which coincided with the other lockdown.
Yeah.
It's been difficult, and we've had to be extremely cautious with new releases and things, sort of biding our time and trying to do things right. But it's been difficult.
Because
obviously as well, people aren't really prioritising new clothes when they potentially haven't got a job or they're on furlough and stuff. It's bills and food. We understood that we were like kind of bottom of that sort of pile of needs and wants sort of thing. So we're, like I say, we're having to be really cautious.
Yeah, you used to do a lot of the events like Comic-Con and things like that as well, didn't you? And obviously having your own shop, obviously during the pandemic you also set up a shop as well.
Great time to set up a shop.
So how have you adapted to survive as a business then?
Like you said, we used to
still working that out?
Comic-Cons. Huh?
Oh, he's still working that one out.
We used to do a lot of Comic-Cons, tattoo conventions. They were a huge chunk of our income, and like the face-to-face promotion side of things as well. So losing them, has been pretty devastating, to be honest. I would say we opened up a little shop at tail end of last year to try and fill some of that void left by the conventions. But that's also been really stop-start. I think we opened up at the end of October and worked a total of 5 weeks to date, to now, with all the lockdowns. So it sucks really, but fortunately, the place that we're renting is, their fees have been lowered and things like that, so it's manageable. But it's not been ideal. We've had to rely on a lot of pre-order campaigns more than we've ever had to fund the new releases. Normally we try and do a couple of those and order in like a bunch of other designs as well. So we've just got, people aren't having to pre-order and wait. We've got like the stock for people to just order and get them straight away. But we're solely doing pre-orders at the moment, which, isn't ideal. We've had to do a whole bunch of sales and competitions to boost our own sales and promotion. We've even had to delve into the whole paid promotions on social media to try and reach new customers. Because again, that void lost by going around the country doing Comic-Cons and tattoo conventions. We're limited to the people that we can kind of reach at the moment. I'm having to keep all of any of the new artworks all having to be in-house rather than working with some of the amazing artists that we know and have collaborated with before. I mean, I guess one of the positives has been discovering and rediscovering, in some cases, new bands to work with.
Yeah.
Because I mean, while they can't gig, we've still found that it's given us a chance to actually sort of discover these bands again. So we've taken on Netherhall, Callous Hands, Ashen Crown, and Night Lives.
Yeah.
Plus 2 streamers, content creators in Goliath Studios. So they review guitars, basses, and they also build pedals. And Beardageddon, who's a hugely popular Twitch streamer, playing lots of Sea of Thieves, and the lad himself, Dax, who I know from his time as vocalist of Kaideka.
Oh.
So it's cool to be working with him again. We even put out a free-to-download tabletop RPG as well during the first lockdown. I mean, that was mostly like a labour of love, but hopefully it kept a few people entertained during lockdown. It's kept me sane for a bit when, we had like those lulls in kind of sales and work activity. So, we're doing everything we could to sort of try and reach people and boost that sort of promotion side. But it's been difficult and we've had to adapt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, obviously you sort of mentioned the new artists that you endorse and that sort of thing. Why is it important for you to work alongside musicians and have your company run alongside the music industry as well? Or is that an aim, or is that was that a choice, or was that just something that's just gradually?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been. I love music. Like I said before, it's the whole sort of ethos of UKTR from the beginning was to work with artists and bands. Music still inspires a bunch of the designs that I produce in-house and the kind of aesthetic that I go for, even when I go to other artists with a concept. Yeah. And I want to help support like the UK independent music scene, because I mean it's all mutual promotion. I can get my words out. From a business point of view, from both sides, that's it's good for both sides. And hopefully when we post about the awesome bands that we endorse, they gain some new fans, and vice versa. It's the mutual promotion side of thing is the key to what we're all about. Yeah. And when the time is right again, I'd love to put on some gigs to showcase a bunch of the bands that we work with. Hopefully we sell a bit of merch while we're there, as same for them, and put on some good shows, as whenever that's allowed to be a thing again. It's there's light at the end of the tunnel, though, it seems, at least.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously during these times, mental health can take a bit of a battering. What have you done to look after yourself?
I mean, I mentioned today, like beach days. We're fortunate to have beaches 5-10 minutes away. So beach days, woodland walks. We've got so much natural beauty surrounding us. So just getting that sort of bit of escapism. Yeah. Speaking of that, I've been playing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons with our old home group from Coventry. Yeah. Doing stuff online a bit more, but. I've joined another game with some of the friends as well. So, sporadic exercise as well. Nowhere near as much as I should. I miss the gyms, but I've kind of got a bit lazy with that, I guess. But just bits. When it does that sort of mental health side of things to start creeping in, you start noticing the anxiety and the stress and whatnot, sort of starting to pick up again. Exercise is the best relief that you can get. So I've been doing that where I can around kids, sort of thing. But family time as well has been a good distraction. Just forgetting about work and the whole situation, and just spending time with the kids and my wife, just letting loose, being silly, mostly annoying my wife. That's kind of what's been keeping me going. Is I was driving her insane, but it's kept me going for the last 12 months anyway.
So I mean, we're looking at things are starting to look like there's a glimmer of hope, as you sort of mentioned there. Do you see light at the end of the tunnel?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, from our business perspective, things have picked up over the last month or so. So, fingers crossed, we're kind of, we're coming to the end of this absolute shit show over, the last 12 months, and hopefully starting to see a bit of a return to some kind of normality, and seeing gigs and festivals sort of coming back. I mean, I don't know in what capacity that's going to end up being. I haven't got massive confidence for some of the stuff in the summer. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I think a lot of us need it. That sort of get to a festival and have some fun with friends, and that we don't see very often and haven't seen for a year or so now. Return to that and back to business as usual again, because we started 2020 as a business really, really strong. Until obviously the coronavirus kicked in and the lockdowns and stuff, and it's not just us, it's been everyone. I mean, I think fashion industry and music industry are probably two that have been hit particularly hard in that people aren't prioritizing buying clothes. They might buy music, but musicians make a lot of their money from touring, and selling merch and things like that, and they're not getting in faces with many people as they normally would. So hopefully, I can see light at the end of the tunnel, and I hope it's not too long before we can, have 200-300 of us, crammed into a small venue, watching the independent music circuit thrive once again.
Yeah, man, definitely. What kind of what can we expect now from UKTR moving forward? Have you got a plan? So, like, as soon as things can get back to normal, have you got a plan of how you're going to move the business forward?
Yeah, we've got things that we want to do. Obviously, we want to move away from pre-orders again, because that was the plan for last year. We want to be able to just get stock in, of that cushion of funds that where it's safe to do so, and we want to do a range of kids t-shirts as well. We wanted to expand in that. We keep getting asked about a lot of that, homeware range, things like that, some one-off bespoke garments as well, something that I've wanted to do for a long time since I started the brand. Work with some sort of designers, seamstress and stuff like that, and go give them some ideas and go mad with that sort of thing. So I mean, it's going to be a gradual thing. We're going to keep doing a lot of what we're currently doing, managing it sensibly as best we can, with the pre-orders. But hopefully, for the future and stuff, there's a lot of plans that we've got. We want to get back into traveling the country, seeing lots of conventions and maybe into some gigs and festivals and things like that. But there's lots of things that we want to do. We want to discover a lot more bands to work with, and other artists and individuals, and hopefully put on some UKTR shows and just have an absolute ton of fun doing it all. That's hopefully not too far off in the future now.
Definitely, man. So where can we find out about Unite the Realm?
We're on Instagram and Facebook. So if you search UKTR Apparel on both of those, on Instagram it's UKTR_apparel. We've got our own website as well. So Unite the Realm, all one word. And for those, because I'm aware this is going out as an audio, so it's UKNITE for Unite, because I like to be awkward. So Unite the Realm, all one word, .co.uk. And that's our website, and you'll be able to find all of our goodies on there. We're running a massive sale at the moment across the store, so you can grab a lot of stuff for pretty cheap. So get on it, follow us on socials, and you'll see a whole bunch of new stuff coming up in the near future.
Bro, mate, thank you very much for the time. Thanks, Ant, for chatting with us at the Razor's Edge. So, as Ant just sort of said, head over to the UKTR website to check out the fantastic apparel that Ant has in stock. The website is www.unitetherealm, UKNITE, therealm.co.uk, or check out or type in UKTR apparel into your Google search. Mate, I wish you all the best and hopefully see you sometime soon.
Definitely. No, thanks for this, mate. It's been awesome. Thank you very much.
No worries. Take care, man.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with future episodes by subscribing to our channels. For more information on this podcast, or for all the latest music news, reviews, interviews and more, head over to our website, www.therazorsedge.rocks.